Yo, 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 LA Natives Podcast, Las Aslan Native Podcast. So
Here we go.
we all know what tomorrow is.
1st of July.
Shout out to all the Indígenas, shout out to all the Mexica, shout out to all the natives out there
Yeah.
that could care less about 4th of July, right, Zero?
Right. You know, we used to have this really cool show called The Farce of July. It was pretty poppin', dude. Shout out to Aslan Underground who used to put that on. And they said they're gonna do like I think they're doing a virtual one this year, but
Serious?
yeah. That's dope. But nevertheless, there's always representation on that day.
Are they wearing masks over there still?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's in charge of it now. But shout out to the organizers. They're commemorating, I think, 40 years of the Zapatista movement. Might be a little more than that. And it's their 27th time doing it. I know Victor from El Boo gonna do some stuff, so I thought I'd mention it.
Well,
farceofjuly.com or something like that.
you know, I was speaking to someone and they were just like, yeah, I just love a holiday where they just give people the day off. I'm just like, damn, that's a weird way of thinking.
Right.
I
mean, and then sometimes, people look forward to working so they could get the double whatever.
That's
double
true.
time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So if you work during 4th of July and you're on a payroll, you're a W-2 worker, then you get paid double.
I think
it's not time and a half because overtime is time and a half and then holiday pay is double.
Right. I think so.
Are you blowing up fireworks tomorrow, Zero?
I don't know. No, I don't understand what it is. And, it was something I kind of had to adopt back into my life when I was with my partner at the time. And, those type of holidays, it's really like family gatherings and shit like that. So I was kind of roped in that way. But now, I don't really pay attention to it. I take the time, do what I can. If I get to spend time with my children, I do that. And if not, I'll figure out what to do, but kind of just roll on like if it's a regular day, because it is,
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I
Independence comes with an ability to choose and to choose your leaders. That's what independence is. Right here, we have an illusion of being able to pick those leaders. Those leaders are picked for us. So we're not really that independent if we really look at it. Because there's so much corruption and lies and in the elite circles. It's kind of silly. So it's kind of like one of those, days of the year that you get to not work.
According to my sister, well, she's not trying to say she's accurate, but I asked her, do you even know what Independence Day is? And she was like, wasn't it when the U.S. separated from the crown?
Mm-hmm. No, because it's Independence Day, right? Independence Day is when they...
So who are they claiming independence from?
Yeah, from England.
From England, okay.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if it's the end of the war. I think that's when they drafted certain documents. We got to bring Daniel in. Daniel,
I'm right here, bro. I'm listening. I'm getting you guys all going.
Because I kind of dropped out at a 9th grade level. So
hey, but that's why July 4th, 1776. That's
right.
that's the beginning of the experiment.
Right, but that was the end of the war, or that was.
It's a good question. I think they have to declare independence before they start the war.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so that's the beginning of the war.
I would assume. I mean, I should know better, but I just,
because it's the Declaration of Independence, right?
Right, and then remember they start off with 13 colonies.
Right.
So 13 colonies organized, and like because it's really an experiment, and really it comes down to taxes. They didn't want to be taxed by England, and so the whole concept of the new world was to be greater than the king, because the king charges you taxes. And it's funny, today I was reading a meme. It was talking about Robin Hood. And you're raised to believe that Robin Hood steals from the rich and gives to the poor. No, man. That fucker been stealing from you. He steals from you all the time. And so when Robin goes, he steals your shit back. You know, and so it's just interesting how, man, we live in the experiment where they think that the rich, because when the country begins, I hate to understand it. They're Calvinists. The Calvinism is a religion that believes that God ordains you to be rich, and if you've got money, that means that God gave you a special privilege to be wealthy. And so they create the dollar, they create a system, and then they create a God that you know, is happy with them when they're wealthy. And so it's part of the whole concept of why people favor money over other things. You know, that's the inception of that concept.
Interesting.
But I don't know if I answered your question, Boo.
No. It's not. I don't know. Whatever it is, it really doesn't make sense. You know, because we're
Yeah,
not.
but it throws me off you showing up with your guns today, man. What the hell's all that, Ruben?
Oh, it was hot today down here, dude.
Dude, that's why I'm on late, man. I had to go to the store and buy a bag of ice for my dad. Damn, dude, it is hot.
Right. Yeah, no, it was hot down here, so I just came straight from work to here.
Dude, it is hot today. I mean, I trip out, man, because, you know, I kind of caught into late where you were, man. But, you know, I think that the weather, man, the weather is what our ancestors, you know, been talking to us about, you know, and it's like, you know, I don't want to be considered a weather denier, but, you know, I know because of the Aztec calendar that we're entering a hot time in the planet, in the cycle of time. And so this heating was going to happen regardless of whether we, you know, dirtied the sky or not. But the fact that we dirtied the sky is just going to make our existence that much harder, you know, because other plants, other organisms on the planet adapt to those temperatures, you know. Kind of like as I'm looking at my cannabis out in the summertime, you know, I'm looking at it, some shit's just going, other stuff's going, you know. Depends on the genetics, man, where it's from and how cool I keep it. But, you know, we're the same way. You know, we just, I don't know if we're supposed to function under this type of heat, but, you know, it's,
you know, if we think about it, like, if the sun is emitting more energy.
No. Is it more energy than Ruben? I don't know if it's more energy. It's just that we're moving closer to the sun because in the rotation of our.
I mean, if we feel more heat, if we feel more heat, I feel like it's giving more energy.
No. It's we're moving. Think about it, brother. Think about this. Okay, there's a fire, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're standing 10 feet from the fire, you're going to feel different than if you're standing 20 feet from the fire.
Sure.
Correct. So you'd be thinking, oh, it's getting hotter. No, fool, you're getting closer to the sun. And that's what I'm saying, Ruben. It's just the sun is speaking differently. Okay, the frequency of the light is changing. And I remember, again, too, I'll reiterate this. When I studied in Mexico in 96, they told us that in this time, solar flares are going to be stronger, meaning that these darts of energy that come off the sun will be more frequent. And they knew this, or they took an X-ray, or somebody took an X-ray of the planet, and they found that those darts go to where all the temples are. That's where the solar energy is stronger. And so they had already known these places had stronger energy, so they built temples at those places.
Makes sense.
Because they already read all this. They were reading the energy without the telescopes and all those things, you know. And I mean, they were on a vibration that was, I mean, man, you know, just think about it. We're not Mexica, but if we thought like the Mexica, we would understand why they did what they did, you know. But again, too, we're in a world that's money. Remember, they teach us, they give us a God that looks like them, that believes if you're wealthy, that you're ordained greater than others, you know. I mean, because you think about it, they look at us.
It's not based on wisdom.
Of course not. It's based on privilege.
Right.
You know, it's based on privilege. It's based on being a landowner.
And if we look at it common sense wise in terms of the rotation or the planet heating up, I mean, when you have thousands of years or hundreds, and let's put the what is it, 400 years is what did they call that, Daniel?
What are you saying? The
count of 400.
Well, that's a place value. You know, the place value is 20, and then 400, and then 2000. So it's the way they count the. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if we count in that manner, right, in terms of 2000, then we're counting because we're observing something. right? And those numbers apply to that observation. So if planets in our rotations have cyclical patterns, then it would make sense that we're in this pattern that they already predicted.
Well, I'll give you an example because you're right. And so what you're talking about, so just so we understand this, a comet, okay, a comet. Do you know what a comet is?
Right.
Ruben? Okay, so
Yeah.
a comet is either a particle, a piece of Earth, some type of Earth that's making a circle in the galaxy. And so our Western culture, they tracked Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet comes around every 75, 78 years, okay?
Yeah.
Well, in 2000, what was it? 2005, I'm sorry, 1997, there was Hale Bob. Hale Bob was a comet that filled the sky, okay? And so no one had a clue about that comet. But if comets are making circles, our ancestors did. Our ancestors had it in a glyph, the comet. And so our ancestors have been living here long enough that we track the markers of time that spin through the galaxy. And so Hale Bob, now they call it Hale Bob, but we knew about it before because it had come last time when Cuauhtemoc gave his last speech when the sun was going down. It was the end of the solar cycle. And that's when he gave that speech. And so the comet noted that. And not only that, the comet came in, what was it, 97. So it's tracking time. But we had tracked time so long, and so these are things for us that we have markers in the sky. They didn't know about Hale Bob. They had no clue. And so that's the perfect example is that we're tracking the planet through the galaxy. Well, they're just there on the planet, not even sometimes realizing that we're a planet moving through the galaxy. You know what I mean? It just, again, dude, think about this. I tell you, I look at the center of the Tonal Machotl and there's a face there because I believe that as a Mexica, I'm descendant from the sun. They believe that they're descendant from apes. And so, I mean, I'm not joking about that. I'm just telling you what their research shows, the same, how do I explain it? There are these people or this entity that's the last one to get to the party and calls all the shots. Like I was just telling somebody recently, why do they keep saying there's a land bridge and who is it keeps saying that we came from Asia? We who are here on the planet, on the continent, none of our stories say we came from over there. The only people that say we came from over there are the people that came from over there.
Right.
And they're the ones that write all the books. And that's maybe what you mean when you're saying don't read the book. Okay, well, yeah, well, you bullshit. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, it doesn't, writing a book don't make it true.
And I've been really thinking about that particular subject about like finding the origin of who was here first and all that stuff. We're one planet.
Right.
We're one people.
Well, it's just like the homie says here in the, Palenque, it's true. We reconnect with the Mexica spiral. The Mexica spiral is always spiraling. And the thing is once we connect with it, you can't go back to fake bullshit. Once you're on the right path, because think about it, we're already eating the foods that we've been eating for thousands of years. We already, and you're the one that talks about that, putting in the recipes, the powders, that shit. It's like you're bringing that circle back. And so I kind of trip out. I think, man, when my knowledge of fruits and vegetables and diet, I feel, very good with my father, in his time when he's coughing shit, I give him some ginger tea, I give him pineapple, and it's like, he's doing better, and I think to myself, man, how did we gather this knowledge? How did we know what to eat? Because, we've been here a long time, and so we're part of the, the functional, we're like the coyote or like the fox, we're an active member of this environment, And so that's,
what the way I see it, when it comes to our foods, when you think of amaranth,
right,
food amaranto,
yeah,
I mean and you look at how they created it, right, and how they created different types of corn, right, the colors of corn, the size of it. Some were used for certain things,
right,
certain flavors. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the amaranth, I think of candy, Ruben. It's funny when you say that. I think of the candy.
But it's a flower.
Right.
It's a flower that grows this seed that if you heat the seed and it pops like popcorn, that's what you call those little bolitas that are part of the candy that you're talking about, alegría.
Right.
So
Yeah, because I think of it as candy. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
when I think of that plant, I think of botanists that went, how can we make a multifunctional thing? Because the flower is beautiful, but can we make the seed edible? And they cross these
Yeah,
certain.
okay, yes, Ruben, you're right, because in our continent, the Mexica and long before them, the Toltecs, the Olmecs, they had been grafting fruits, and they've been fucking with fruits and vegetables on this continent for a long time. And so
I mean, that's how we develop avocado. That's how we
yes,
develop
exactly.
all
And
these
Ruben, think about this. Those fruits, those words don't exist in the other parts of the world at
things.
all. There's no root to that. And aguacate comes from aguacholote, like the monster bird, because aguacholote is a turkey.
Right.
And so aguacate, it's just interesting how the sounds, what I mean? The sounds that, and now what we had so many sounds that made up the words, and so it's just interesting, but those are where we lived. We really, we were immersed in our environment, like
Yeah.
you said, the amaranth, like, because I think of Day of the Dead when I did my Day of the Dead workshop, it's like, that's all the candy and stuff. And the amaranth is always to me tied to Day of the Dead. But then when I think of amaranth, I think of licorice. Is that the flavor is that right or no?
No. Well, maybe if you ate the flower of it,
Okay,
like
because to me it
I'm
tastes
not
like
sure.
licorice.
I don't remember if the flower is edible, but I know the seeds get hard. They're really
Right.
dense, and people think they're a grain, but they're not a grain. It's a seed. It's a
Well,
seed flower.
what's interesting, Ruben? I just found this out. My homie John was telling me this, but okay, the California poppy. Okay, do you know what the California poppy is?
No.
Okay, well,
Is it
it's a
is it the
flower.
orange flower? It's not that
Yes,
orange
yeah,
flower.
that's it. It grows everywhere. It's the national. It's the state flower.
Right.
Okay,
I think I know that, yeah.
I think you've seen it. So here's my homie was tripping out. He goes, "You know what? I wonder why they call it poppy." I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of wonder why they call it poppy too." He goes, "Then I found out." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, I had them sitting there in my room drying them out, and all of a sudden I hear this popping." And I'm like, "What do you mean popping?" He goes, "Yeah, and all the seeds are popping. They're shooting everywhere." I was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "You're kidding me?" He goes, "Yeah, that's what they call poppy seeds." I was like, "Holy shit." That's totally, it makes sense to me. But I thought it was just funny, because man, things have meaning. You know what I mean? Like we originally have meaning to a lot of the things that we have. Like I said, the avocado is kind of ugly on the outside, kind of like a turkey. It's just funny the way we named words and the origins.
Well, I just think that our culture has been existing for a very long
Of
time.
course.
And if we're gonna put emphasis on cycles, right? Those cycles are gonna be. I mean, everything that we do is gonna revolve around those things, right?
Right.
Like even the botany part, right?
Right.
Creating plants that grow during certain times and mastering that and
But Ruben, think about that
through the
concept.
observation, right?
Yeah. I mean, but Ruben, think about the idea of thinking, let's manipulate this plant. Like, dude, that's kind of deep. I mean, I trip out off when you look at the base 20 on the Tonal Machotl. All of those 20 concepts, man, they're not simple concepts. It's kind of like it's kind of funny. Recently, I don't know if you guys are talking about it, but how the certain states are deciding to put the 10 Commandments in there for everyone to see.
Mm, mm.
And it's just obviously you don't know the 10 Commandments, Ruben, but I mean, I
I do.
myself.
I do. I grew up in a Christian environment.
Okay, so do you
So,
want to
I
recite
mean,
that?
I don't know them all like by heart, but
But
I remember them talking about it.
okay,
I,
but could you?
I actually remember a famous movie about the Ten Commandments.
Oh
That's
wow,
funny.
is that the one with Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Oh my God, that's that. Oh, you're funny. I know that movie too, man. That's everyone knows that
Hey,
movie.
he was a good actor. He was
Oh my God, like
Planet of the
old
Apes, right?
dead hand.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Oh
That guy.
man, that original one was ill.
It was, dude. That was when movies were like real, though. That's like from like the Wizard of Oz times. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, okay. But let's not get sidetracked, okay? But the 10 Commandments wasn't one of them. Thou should not covet thy wife.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, the fucking kindergartner gonna ask the teacher, but what does that mean, teacher?
Right.
And let's think of the other ones. I mean, I don't know them because man, I just rejected a lot of that shit early on because I commit I break those commandments all the fucking time,
Mm.
and I don't give a shit.
Right.
I mean, so I'm gonna go to hell. Well, fuck, it felt like hell today. Shit, like that's
And
just funny.
I think that's the time that we're in, where if we feel like the narrative of European culture, European philosophy, European religion, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit into our puzzle.
But
You
you know
know,
what, Ruben? I'm 55, man. I remember being in college, like being like 30, just going so pissed at fucking the way everything was so fucked up. And here I am, man, 25 years later, and shit's changed. Shit has changed. But I mean, some things haven't changed as much. But come on, man. Let's be truthful and honest. Change is inevitable.
mhm,
Inevitable.
mhm,
And I trip out because to me, I don't get where the experiment's going because I was telling my nephew, I said, okay, we here live in the Bay. And I can only think, I said, hey, where do you just find a people, a community that's homogeneous? You know what that means, Ruben? Homogeneous?
I think you explained it to me once when I was explaining to you how my grandfather got here.
Right. Well, homogeneous means all the same color, all the same culture, all the same
Okay.
people.
Well,
Okay.
maybe not.
Okay. That's all good. And so here's the thing, though. So most places in California have diversity. They're not homogeneous anymore.
Mhm,
Does that make sense?
mhm, mhm.
So it's kind of weird. The few places where it's still homogeneous, and so it's got to make you think, why is that? Why is that still all one color? And it's got to be there's something there that's keeping it that way. Either the government, the populace, something is keeping that place homogeneous. And so I'm just saying that that concept is very like it was like that everywhere when I was young. Now there's only two places I think of that way: is the Monterey Peninsula, like Carmel, and Palo Alto. It's the
Mm.
only two places I could think right now. For one, my nephew works in Palo Alto, so yeah, we go there, we see it, okay. And then Monterey, I kind of understand that. I mean, a lot of the graduates from Cal Poly, who I no longer talk to, all live in Monterey. And so it just made sense. So, but my point is this: is that in today's society, if you're actively trying to keep your society or group homogeneous, that's a strange goal to have in your society. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. But
Because me,
that's the way they've always been.
no, okay, here's the thing.
Like
Yes,
that's the whole point of a colony.
yeah, but
Is to
Ruben,
kind
I
of
grew up
just
with them that way.
the colony is to come to the space as a hive and spread out, right? And hopefully it's just you guys, and most likely it is because they kept killing everything around it, right? Am I wrong?
Right,
That's
right.
what happened.
But that's what I'm saying, Ruben. It wasn't their concept doesn't grow. Okay, to me, simple, simple. It's math. It's cosmic math. Okay, cosmic
Mm,
math. Love is multiplication. Hate, fear is division.
mm,
They're hate and fear. So once they got here, they could grow, but they're going to divide. They just divide. It's their nature to divide. It's not their nature to multiply. And it's interesting if you look today, and I don't know who they are, but they're people that are really bothered by something that can't be fixed by the government. Does that make sense? They want to fix their way of life. They want to stop immigration. They stop and think about it. Okay. We're not immigrants. They're immigrants. Okay. I migrate. My people migrate. They came here, signed contracts, signed treaties, didn't abide by a single one. And so that means all those people are immigrants. And so you got to understand that. Eventually, this is going to work out in the American society. They're going to realize all these rules are going to apply to the immigrants of the country.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
Is there somebody on the phone?
I think Mondo's queuing somebody up.
Okay. But does that make sense? Like we're we're the populace that we're always being convinced of doing shit, and it's like, man,
Well,
you know
I was talking to someone about that, and my goal from doing what I do is not worrying about the borders and all the
right,
stuff that we
right,
really
right,
can't control, right? But
right.
we can control our own micro environment.
Yes, yeah. Think global, act local.
Well, the global part comes when they start to see harmony within what you build. That's and it starts at a small level. And so the concept of wanting to change things, which we don't even know what we really want. What do we want? A new Declaration of Independence? right? Do we want our version of this paper that we celebrate every year, where we kind of know what it is? We didn't even know what the fuck it was. Is it the Independence Day, or is it the day that they declared independence? Whatever the fuck it is, it's
But
like,
independent from what, Ruben? Independent from what?
from the crown or from the oppression. But you're right, because they're like, we're not going to get taxed. Yet, if you look at our tax, the way they tax us here as citizens of the U.S., I mean, we get taxed like almost 50%.
And that's exactly what the crown was doing, right?
Right,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, they were taxing us less.
Yeah, but bro, the taxes here are out of hand because you pay taxes upon taxes upon taxes like it's crazy how many times shits
Mondo.
get taxed.
And I think we have a caller who just called in.
Mondo, do me a favor. Can you look up Russell memes and then put taxes? I think he had a really good speech about taxes.
Hello. Are you there?
Yo.
Yeah, I'm right here.
What's up? Who's this?
Yeah. Can you turn?
I'm in the chat. This is Palanquishi.
Oh,
Right,
good
Palanquishi.
shit. Palanquishi, what's up, brother?
Hey,
You might
Palanquishi.
need to turn off your TV or your
Yeah.
radio.
Do me a huge favor and turn off whatever you're watching or hearing in the background, brother.
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
Well, I don't know what it is. Oh, you can hear it?
That's cool.
Somebody's TV is on. Hold on.
I love that guy.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
So thank you for
All right.
calling in.
It's,
Thank you for calling in. Is there anything you want to say?
Well, I'm sorry about that. I couldn't grasp hold of the conversation you were having right now. But I figure as indigenous descendants, we're part of the world of nature, right? We're part of nature. So in nature, what we see is that in the animal world, in the insect world, something's dominating something. Something's eating something. So it seems like among the humans, they came over here and did that to our people over here, like some kind of dominating thing, and to exterminate us. And that's happening around the world in all the species, it seems. But I'm not sure it could even expand even further than that. Who knows? But we're part of nature, and we don't fit into this system that came in here through the economic strategies, and we don't understand the things about the money and stuff. We understand more about nature and the movement of the stars and the energies coming in and the energies going out, stuff like that we were separated from. So I'm thinking now we're trying to reconnect, like I was saying earlier, we're trying to reconnect to our ancestors. And many of us are. And through your discipline, Zero, I know you're there. I mean, they're talking to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're talking to me. They're talking to Daniel. They're talking to Sky and Armando. I mean, we're messengers out here.
Absolutely.
Let's see what our messages are to our people.
Right.
Wow, that's powerful, Hanzro. What do you think?
I mean, he's exactly right. He has very good points about that, and it does come down to disciplines. What disciplines you're going to learn, and what disciplines you're going to implement into your life on a daily basis. Like, there's no excuse. Like, one day, Sky came into the shop. He's like, "Oh, what's up with the push-ups?" And I was like, "Damn, what was up with the push-ups?" And now it's just like, boom! It just puts you right back on that path, of the commitment that you have to yourself. And that commitment is, how strong can I be for my community? How strong can I make myself, my body, my mind, my spirit, my heart? How strong can that be for the community? That's really, I think, I mean, when you were a person that contributed to the community, that was a wealthy person. You know what I mean? Because you had knowledge, or you contributed to something being in a harmony, right? So it just takes practice.
Excuse me, isn't there people that are there to cut you off from trying to help your community? Like I've been stopped I mean, they don't want me to say anything.
Mhm.
I'm ex-military, so I started saying stuff in the military, and they said, "Oh, what are you, American or what?" I'm an American, but I know what the hell. I know my rights. I mean, you can't tell me what the hell to do when I don't want to do it.
Right.
So, but then I don't want to follow orders, so I didn't get along with the military, you know.
Wow.
So we had problems there, and they tried to stop my point of view and what I had about life and reality. And so automatically we get in trouble by the system because we don't see things their way. That's it.
I
Yeah,
think
Wow,
it's when
that's
the
deep.
student,
Oh,
yeah,
when
no,
you
when the student becomes the teacher, brother, you know, because as a student, you're learning, and I think in this system, boy, you know, if you begin to start thinking, you begin to be above the system, and I think you were thinking too much. You're a soldier, and you were too much of a warrior to be a soldier, you know, because a
Mm.
soldier, you just tell them and they do it. The warrior has to think about it, and it's like, man, you know, the warrior is motivated by their heart.
So I'm looking up Russell Means taxes.
no, you didn't come out.
They've probably shadow banned the video because
Right.
He just went
this
over.
dude has a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Right.
He
And that
was.
dude's, yeah, that guy was truth.
Yeah.
The
That homie was
closest
truth.
one is the title Russell Means on individual sovereignty.
Hmm. I don't know if that's the one, but there was one where a long time ago when I was in my youth and we were studying um, Russell Memes, he had mentioned how the serfs, you know, revolted against the king and because of the taxes, and they were being taxed 10%, right, or 10% of whatever they did, or
Right.
so
Right.
it was a very lower. It was way lower than what we're being taxed now, right? And during the time that Russell Mean was talking about it, he was all, and we get taxed nearly 30%, and it's gone up more,
Yeah.
right?
It has.
If you really combine how much they tax us, and they meaning the state and the government, we're getting taxed probably 3 or 4 times more than the serfs that revolted during the time of the king and queen of England or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Ruben,
But
what's
we
even
we don't
worse.
pay attention to that because we go, no, my tax dollars pay for your salary. My tax dollars pay for your. Oh, okay, you know what you should look up, Armando? Look up where taxes, Jordan Maxwell, and then maybe put where the taxes go, and he breaks down like where our taxes really go, right? And it's paying a debt to the Queen of England,
Yeah.
right? So our tax dollars don't pay anybody's salary. Our tax dollars don't, you know, do the infrastructure to our roads and stuff like that. They have a pull from maybe local government to do those things, right? But the federal government that takes the biggest chunk out of your paycheck, you know, that debt is that's going somewhere else. And I think Jordan Maxwell explains that.
I've heard of Jordan Maxwell.
Yeah, we played him the other day.
Right.
And he's really knowledgeable about, like, you know, the occult. But he has a really good breakdown of like what happens to what our tax dollars are.
Another one, I'm looking it up on YouTube. It's all scrubbed out.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I used to be able to look up those
You
videos.
can't have too much
bro.
truth out there, brother.
Yeah, man.
Can't be
it's
having
been-
too many people thinking.
See, and here we are on July 4th, tomorrow, celebrating our Independence Day.
From what?
But are we really independent if they're going to scrub the internet from truth? If they're not going to allow us to see things that, you know what I mean? Like, how independent are we? We're only independent. It's like that George Carlin comedy skit that he says that we have the illusion of choice.
Yeah, that's true.
And what does that mean? What does that mean?
The illusion.
What is
of
the
choice.
illusion of choice? Let's break it down. The illusion of choice is going to what he described. He goes, you can pick from 40 different bagels, but you can't pick your, you know, the government official that you want up there, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So you have an illusion because all those political, you know, all those politicians are handpicked, right? It's never a fair game. You know, talking to someone where it's like, you got to play the game. You want to play the game? You have to play the game. And it's like, but you can't play a game that you didn't invent and you don't know the rules. And guess what? People cheat while they play that game.
Yeah, I'd say even worse than that. People cheat. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They cheat while they tell you to play the fucking to be straight and narrow.
Well,
But
that's
it's
why
also
it's
not
Monopoly.
know the rules is fucked up.
Straight up Monopoly.
There you go. See, he knew what game I was talking about. Right? Where they go, oh yeah, here, how much money do you want? Here, let's give you a big pile of money. You know what I mean? So we got to be aware of those things. These are the things, these are the critical kind of levels of the mind that you need to get at to this in this day and age. You know, where is it at? If we're debating like the Monday morning quarterback about politics, right? That we're never going to affect yourself. The way we do it is we affect ourselves, we make ourselves stronger. That strength starts to apply to our family. That family starts to become stronger. Then it affects the community, and the community starts to become stronger. And then, you know, you meet up with another community and you link in that way. But no one ever rules anyone because we all have to be responsible for ourselves. And the stronger individuals usually led because they were just examples, right?
But they weren't authoritarian, though, Ruben. You're right. You know, I'm saying that you're right. And they led because they had the knowledge. It's kind of like nature leads because the smart one leads. You know, nature's not dumb.
The way I see it, Daniel, it's like when you go to the lodge, right? And uncle's asking you, hey, go put the blankets up. Oh, hey, you know, go chop some wood. Hey, he's leading because you're like, damn, he's cool. I like him. You know what I mean? Like
But he got experience though. But his lead leads to things getting done. So yeah, I agree. I mean, it's kind of like there's an order, Ruben. You know what I'm saying? There's an order to things, and I think that. But as men too, you know, we need order because we don't have that. I don't know what it is, but you know, I mean, as men, we're kind of chaotic, and as you know, as men, we need order. You know, we need ceremony, really. You know. And in the ceremony and in the order, someone has to lead it, especially as men. Fuck, you know.
Well, these two guys here on the screen are definitely not delivering any order whatsoever.
That's so true, brother.
Or leadership.
But this is a perfect example of the kind of like the end of the experiment.
This is the prime example of what's been going down for hundreds of years, right here on your fucking screen.
Yes, that's so true, brother. Yes, so true. And somehow considering us less.
Two old white dudes with bald hair.
Right. Oh my God.
But it's dying. It's dying. Look at what's up there. If we really analyze it, what's scary to me, Daniel, did you hear about what happened in the Supreme Court? What is that?
Dude, that's kind of crazy.
Let's look that up.
Yeah, look up
that's
the
kind
Supreme
of
Court.
crazy. To be honest with you, to me, that's definitely the end of the experiment. They're definitely just. It's like they're knocking they're putting the nails in the coffin. Like, man, crazy, you know? Because that's supposed to be the highest court. This is supposed to be the most, you know, what do you say, rational minded. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And what was it like? Something about like?
Well, they said they're allowing the president to have total immunity as long as he's doing his duty. You know, so what does that mean? So what I heard,
can't get convicted of any kind of crime.
Well, but here's the crazy thing. This is what I heard. But this is what's fucking crazy. They said with this law that just passed, Nixon wouldn't have fucking been impeached. He wouldn't have quit. He wouldn't have been able to stay, fucking do all that shit, and then just move on. Like, what the fuck? Really? So that's what I mean. That's some crazy shit. That fool had to resign, and you know they had to pardon him because what they didn't do to Trump. Most of them do is they pardon each other. They didn't pardon that guy. He's not part of the crew. You know what I mean? Like he's the end of the experiment. I'm telling you, I myself, brother, I tell you what, man. Come on, man. This country, people don't even want to say it, man. But like, I trip out because what's going to happen to all Social Security? What's going to happen to this big old military complex? Is it just going to break up? It's just going to be get the fuck out of here, dude. This is problems. So many problems. Do you know how many people? You know how many times have been trying to get the military out of Hawaii? Just out of Hawaii. Just, you know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be such a mess. But again, too, the whole middle of the country, it's all not us, you know.
Mhm.
And so it's just, this is just not no bueno. But think of this though, this. Every country in the world knows that everybody here in this country has a gun, and if they don't know that, they think that. So I mean, it's just think about that. You know what I mean? You got the bully down the street, and he's always got a bunch of guns, man. And like, fuck, how you take that fool out? And no one else has a gun like him. So it's just interesting. And this fool's been helping you out for years, and now you're like, man, that guy's time to go.
Right.
And but we're just at a weird because I'm a history major, Ruben, and man, I trip out, man. But I'm not in no way trying to fucking revive this fucking gaga. Come on, man. They shit on me since I was a kid.
I mean,
Give me every reason not to love this country.
the way I see it is like, I mean, I don't study the superficial stuff, like the popular stuff. The popular stuff is
it worth studying? Is it even true?
not necessarily studying, but getting caught up in the
Right.
Trump or Biden, because we all know that they're just kind of for show. But it's like, what type of show are they putting on?
But
right?
I just think they had this plan all along, how out of nowhere Biden wants to step down.
I thought Ruben said it before. I thought Ruben had the idea.
Some weird shit, dude. Like it's all a soap opera.
Yeah, you're right. It's what was that quote by Shakespeare or something like that? It was something like
it just goes to show if Biden is in that condition, I've been saying that since he got into office, that he wasn't all there. Like my wife, works as a hospice caregiver for elderly. She right away was like, there's something off with this dude, because he shouldn't be running for president. He should be, retired, relaxing on his yacht or some shit with his crackhead son or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but Mondo, that's what the president usually is. He's just a figurehead, and everyone.
So he doesn't run the country at all.
No, I mean normally they don't. And I mean, and
he's just basically the captain of the cheerleader team.
Yeah, the head. Think about it, they're the head of state.
Think of it like
head
this.
of state.
Think of it like Steve Jobs, and when he does his what do they call that? When they talk to the shareholder,
he goes on the stage and
the shareholder meeting,
right?
It's a shareholder meeting, right? If Steve Jobs wasn't a very articulate person, they would have someone else do it, and he'd be CEO and he'd do it. That's what the president is. The president is the most articulate person to like Obama. Obama was very articulate. Like he spoke about policy and he spoke about foreign policy and how we were going to do things. And he was very eloquent and almost gave confidence about like how he was running the country. Right. And then you have Trump, who's just like, good old boy. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say what I want. I'm gonna say fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
but Ruben,
and you know what's strange to me, Zero, that apparently, according to the polls, this election is going to have the most independents in the history of this country. I think 70% of this country are independents now. They don't know who to choose. But yet JFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., he's a big voice. He's running as an independent.
But I think also you got it.
And he's getting no love, but yet he's part of the cabal of the Kennedy family.
Okay, but now you're on to something, Mondo.
Like if they even showcase this man, dude, he'll win the fucking presidency. Apparently, they illegally banned him from this, or he apparently didn't qualify to get on this debate, but he claims he did. They're just shadow banning him for some reason.
But Mondo, the thing is that, man, we're
like you said at Zero, like there has to be change. Like this is the same old shit that's gonna happen. Doesn't matter who wins presidency.
Well, there's a bigger agenda at play. There's a global agenda. What's the global agenda? How are things? I mean, come on. We're at the brink of war. Or we're in the middle of war. Some CIA just said we're in the middle of war right now. We don't see it because it's a different type of war. It's not 1948 war.
Well, Ruben agreed, and I think we're kind of missing something. You were talking about JFK. They killed JFK because he was going to take down the CIA. Okay, and so you got a president that was going to begin to fix this country, and the team said, "Nah, fuck that. Let's kill this guy." And so they took him out. And so since that, shit's changed, man. The president ain't the same.
Well, then the military industrial complex.
Hello. If you look at what happened in Vietnam once JFK got shot, come on, man. Again, I'm a history major, so I mean, it's just crazy shit because like you're talking about things, but you're not talking about how before. Okay, you're talking about Obama, but you're not even mentioning what a fucking idiot Bush was. Bush was such a fucking idiot. You got a black man running the United States. Think about that. And you're just like, okay, if he's a black man, how eloquent does he have to be? That guy has to be the fucking best fucking guy. And after him, what do we get? We get the fucking chimpanzee. Like, dude, you get this, right? And it's like, I'm old enough to remember Reagan. These fuckers come in and they're just figureheads. That's it. Everyone behind them is just fucking going court cases, writing new court shit, making up new laws. You have no fucking clue what the hell they're passing until all of a sudden someone's banging on your door saying, "Yeah, you got to move out, man." It's like that's the shit they've been pulling.
I think there's some serious global stuff happening that the mainstream media doesn't pick up on, and it's not going to pick up on it. Where the escalation between Russia and China against the U.S. and again, I'm going to refer to that one. It was about, oh God, how long ago was that? It had to be like 8 years ago, close to 8 years ago, or 6 years ago. I saw this Hopi. He's not a prophet or anything like that, but he's a seer, right? And that he was talking about how humanity's going to have a split. We're going to make a decision, right? Either we're going to not hurt the planet, but we're going to destroy ourselves on the planet, or we're not, right? We'll take the people will shift to, cleaning up the planet instead of, trying to destroy the people on it. We can't destroy the planet. We can't destroy the planet. Humans cannot destroy the planet. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that. I don't care. That's just my opinion, but we can't destroy the planet. We can destroy ourselves on the planet, but the planet will still be here. Right?
Right.
It's bigger than we are. So, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Anyways.
Well, I wouldn't even say that we are one team. Do you know what I mean? Because there's we that's on the planet, and then there's we that's not on the planet. You know what I mean? And so there's two forces fighting, and I mean, it's true. I mean, I read an article today. I agree. It says that if Donald Trump wins the presidency, it is the end of America. And I thought that's kind of funny. I mean,
they're trying to end America.
Well, it's going to end
America. They're trying to end the dollar.
Well, Ruben, it has to be. What did the experiment do since it got here? It took us away from our land, rejected all of our cultures, killed everybody that didn't look like them, and then spread fucking war across the whole world. And so now the Soviet Union and China are doing what the U.S. did, but actually China's different. They're not going to war. Now they're buying everybody out. So China's doing it differently, but I think that it makes sense when the U.S. trips and falls, the world comes up, because the U.S. likes to step on the world, step on the whole planet, and charge everybody extra money. And so that time is over. That time is over. And people want to act like, oh, we're America. Okay, well, yeah, cool, man. But you know what? I'm just saying, man, build the wall. Build the wall, but this time it's going to keep the Americans out of Mexico. It's not going to keep them. Yeah, I just laugh at that, man, because build that shit. Build it as high as you can, because it's funny. You talk about Obama. Over there in Mexico, you got a Jewish president that's Obama, Look at her fucking shit that she's done. Look at how smart that woman is. And it's just funny. That's what you got in Mexico. And then over here, you got two fucking chimpanzees.
But like I said before, I think that there's a bigger agenda. Of
course.
Play. There's a bigger agenda outside of the U.S. presidency. There's a global agenda.
It's kill the bully. Right. And kill the invader.
How are they going to... There's some economic changes that are happening on a level that we're not ready for. I don't think so.
Well, they keep us ignorant, Ruben. People that don't
read,
with
the BRICS, right? With BRICS and all that stuff.
Right.
BRICS is a real deal thing. and the US being the world currency is very close to being done. This is what this whole war is about.
For sure.
Like,
There's a lot of
if
variables.
someone said, "Hey, you know what? We don't like that you fucking print money like whatever and fucking inflate our shit," and then they're all getting together going, "Fuck that! We won't use your money then."
Yeah, but Ruben, think about it. Then they go look at the bombs that are killing people in Israel, and they got American flags on them. And I mean, those are facts. That's like, dude, that's a
Well, not
fucking
only
truth.
that, but the bombs that they're using in Ukraine to
Right.
attack Russia.
Right.
So then the response from Russia is, well, then we're going to give weapons to your enemies. And if they use them, well, fuck it. They used them. It wasn't our shit.
All they're doing is reflecting the American behavior, which I think is crazy. Think about that.
But when we studied in '94, like, about the New World Order and it being a world government, all one world religion and that kind of a thing, we're really escalating towards that type of future,
right?
Because what's going to happen when hundreds of thousands of, if not millions of people die at once? Then religion's going to take in.
Well, that was already COVID.
No, but I'm talking about, like, let's say, for instance, like, like in World War II, when lots of people died, a lot of people became religious,
Right.
from that war, right? Because there's a lot of death. So people turn to religion.
Right.
Right. So if that happens across the globe with the social medias, the reach of social media and things of that nature, boom, it's a perfect plan to just go, okay, we're all under one religion now. No more war ever again.
That's crazy.
Right? This is what we've been studying since '94. This is not a conspiracy theory. These are very diabolical, evil people. Here's what I have to say, though. I think that the reason why the U.S. is having trouble, although they're still purposely wanting to get rid of it, that's why they put idiots on the presidential stage like Biden and Trump. They purposely want America to fall. Who wants America to fall? Could be the Vatican. But I hear that even England is having an issue too. So two out of the three prime rulers or people who okay things, like, I don't know if people know that the Vatican approves arms to be sold to countries to fight each other. They didn't know that.
If the money's being made, Ruben, I'm sure they find a way. You know what I mean? Because money's their god.
It's just that the Vatican okays the war. You know what I mean?
Well, the Pope is kind of weird, man. You know what I'm saying? That guy talks weird shit, and then, like,
they're a military
well, yeah,
establishment, but we think they're a religious establishment.
But Ruben, think about it.
They are a military,
right.
They're
Because
they had the Crusades, right? Didn't they have the Crusades, right? And the Crusades, they fucking went and murdered people in the name of the Bible.
In the name of God, yeah.
So now we're taking it, boom, Doctrine of Discovery, bam, we land in the new land. We're still rolling with that program, right? I think the last of the last, and here's I think the most critical part of what we're living today in this modern day, in this modern present time, is the globe. And this is what the Hopi elder kind of talked about. Are we going to let colonialism do its thing one more time? And what I mean by that is genocide of people. This is happening in real time right now.
Yeah. What can we do, Ruben? I mean, like,
I'm not saying that we can do anything. I'm just saying that what we could do is really look within ourselves and in our own little environments, because it's not a vote that makes these individuals popular. It's the energy we put into them, how we talk about them, how we go and post now, we do our video blogs. It's like these guys that Armando was showing me earlier, that have millions and millions of followers, like Mr. Beast, right? It's a whole new different game. and they're shifting us towards it. What can we do? Is be within ourselves. We can't stop that war. But are we gonna be like, yeah, that's cool, and if it happens over here in the US, are we gonna be, oh, that's cool because it's not over here? You see, we gotta, at one point when it comes to our space, we're gonna have to defend however we can. Unfortunately, for those people in that region of Tonantzin, it's been happening for 75 years. But the world is waking up to it. And all of that
I think
destruction.
a lot has to do with social media, dude.
course,
Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. It just,
Well, it's putting a face.
even though the algorithm is working every day at its best to like make your point of view,
to suppress it.
But it's really like that's what's happening, man. Like
it's like
people are being,
if people are obviously aware of echo chambers, that's the whole point of social media, is to make you think a lot of people are watching what you're watching. If you know what I mean, Zero.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the algorithm is at play at that point, but we all defeat the algorithm. And you're right. There's a lot of weird shit going down.
Distractions.
And the power is in the people now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if I mean that's a really good question, Daniel. What can we do?
No, but here's the thing, bro. They've been doing this to us for a while. Okay, they've been doing it for a while. It's because I know my background psychology, and I trip out off of all the subliminal shit they used to pass that you couldn't do. Now they're doing it full force, and I'm not sure how that happened. I'm not sure where they allowed it to be, but yeah, they're really, people are being. I mean, the manipulation's at an all-time high. I kind of trip out off of it, but I think we just have to find our way to somehow not give into or not support the problem, but then find our own autonomy, because at least myself, I try to, have interactions with people I care about and still try to have, hope,
Right.
and care, and like, I just, but I'd say almost like in my life, dealing with my nephew getting hit by a car, and then my other nephew, dealing with the heat of work. And it's like, life is filled with so many highs and lows, contradictions, man. To have extra shit to worry about, it's just seems like it's part of the machine does that to you, because it's hard to to be authentic everywhere with everybody, but again too, it's, you got to keep your space safe, and like, I know this might sound cliche, but you got to eat good, sleep good, chase your passions, tell people you love them, like, try not to get frustrated. Things get to you, get up and walk, take a walk. I mean, I've been finding to get up and take a walk, I mean, again, too, I always take the wax hit, always helps me. But I mean, it's just finding a way to be more productive with our energy,
Yeah, that's a good point. Being productive with the energy and
making
what
good,
I mean,
making good stuff instead of being like,
even on the like scrolling level, right? If you get caught up with that energy of looking at social media and getting upset, and I see it all the time where people just, they feel hopeless over people that are dying.
Right. No, I hear that too. Yeah.
But, okay, so we're gonna take that energy, right, and create it into like a fog, and that fog is real. It's coming out of you. All that emotion, all that hopelessness, all that. If I was a 13 family elite and I saw a lot of people posting about like how they feel hopeless about not being able to do something, then I would feel powerful over them.
Well, apparently there was a law that passed that as of 2025, every social media company, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they have to put a disclaimer before you log in and say, hey, for any minors out there, it's a very dangerous tool to use if you're a minor.
Wow.
Because it can manipulate your head and make you suicidal.
Oh,
it's going to be a big ass disclaimer.
I saw something about that. LAUSD,
you saw that?
Yeah, LAUSD's there.
And now LAUSD is the first school district to ban all phones while kids are in school.
I agree with that. As a
The
teacher,
teachers are gonna have a bag, and all the
Collect
kids are gonna put the phones in the bag.
hey, but as a teacher, man, I agree with that, man. Again, too, though, I didn't teach in the age where kids had phones, but man, it just doesn't seem to be a good thing to have the phones in class.
You know how
If that don't sound authoritarian,
well,
I don't know what else says, dude.
you know
Come on.
how you were saying in the last episode where like if you don't pay your bill, they won't let you drive.
Right.
Right.
It's going down right now in China.
Yeah, no way.
Hey, wait, but Mondo,
It's-
I've heard about this in China.
It's like
I've
the
heard this.
social credit system
Right.
Yeah, dude.
where
Like, what the
everyone's
fuck?
tracked. Everyone's tracked.
Mhm.
But who the
Facial
fuck decides
recognition.
though, Mondo? Who decides whether that was good or bad? You know what I mean? Like to me, dude,
You know
that's
who
kinda
decides,
weird.
Daniel? You know who decides? The World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum decides. A lot of people
Dude.
think, oh, that's just a bunch of rich people. No, those are the people that create the tech that goes out into the public that gets sold.
But
Right?
Mondo, do you know what I'm talking about? That like, okay, say if you're crossing the street and you don't cross by the time it says don't walk, you get a negative number. And
Yeah.
then if you get enough negative numbers like that, like you got to pay more for shit. Like it's just like what the fuck? Like, and that's what I'm saying though. It's
You're not
strange.
allowed. Yeah, they won't allow you to go to the movies or
Right.
into a mall
I mean,
or even
it's
worse, even a
discrimination, right?
grocery store.
Yeah,
Even a
you're
grocery store.
discriminated against because of your score. And I mean, dude, you think about it, it's like a sliding downhill, man. Like fuck. It just, but dude, that just seems to me like Big Brother, you know, like just
I was thinking the
everywhere.
exact same thing. Big Brother's watching.
But what's the point in having life? Why don't they just tell us what to do? Like fuck.
Here's the thing. I heard, I don't know if it was a year ago, but Charles Schwab, you know who Charles Schwab is?
The investment banker dude.
Not Charles Schwab. What's the name of that dude from the World Economic Forum? He has a weird name. I forget the name. He has he's one of the leaders of the World Economic Forum, and he was praising China. He's going, China has to be the new world power. We have to follow China's lead because they have it perfectly set for the way we want to run things.
Yeah,
Right.
but come on, Ruben. Didn't you hear about those NBA players when they started talking bad about China? All of a sudden, they fucking their money got cut and all this shit started happening. It's like, dude, that's kind of.
I mean,
weird.
I'm not talking. I think what I'm talking about is that they have the perfect weapons to control their population, at least in the cities. I don't know if they control the rural areas that you know, the mountainsides or
Hey, but
because
Ruben-
there's a lot of people in China.
Right,
But the cities are where they really have their technology on lock.
Okay, but
And what I'm trying to point out is that Charles Schwab, I think his name is Charles Schwab, something Schwab, one of those dudes. Anyways, he was pointing at China as being the leader, and now, but to do that, not everybody's gonna go, oh yeah, China's good. You know, look at their fucking. thing."
But his point is like he praises him because he sees like everyone's in control.
Yeah, the system.
right.
System. And
Yeah,
that
no,
every other country across the globe should adopt that system of control. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly right, Armando. So now think of it. Now we have
There's
two.
essentially no crime because you're so controlled.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't even buy, like, and if you're overweight, they're like, no, you can't buy pizza. You can only buy salad.
Damn.
Like that.
Okay, but you were though. I
And you know how
agree
your
with you.
iPhone could tell you, oh yeah, your heart rate's too high, or
Right.
they're getting to that point where now your cell phone and you don't even have to walk through a metal detector. People are reading your heartbeat because if you're doing something bad, they're like, oh shit, your phone's telling you, oh, this dude's up to something. You know what I mean? Because you're nervous.
Wow, that's weird. But here's the thing,
This
though.
is the technology that they're trying to implement.
Well, but that's how they do influence. But let's think about something. What other ways? What other countries do to influence you? What does the United States do to influence us, Ruben? Do they kill us? Do they shoot us with guns?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's always been that. You know?
But I'm saying, let's compare that to China. And you know what I mean? I think to myself, like you said, there's no crime there. Okay. The US is filled with crime. And it's just a trip, these two worlds, you know, like, fuck, does it have to be one or the other? Like, damn, you know what I mean? Because I mean, I don't want crime, you know, and also too though, I'm not a gun touter, you know, but the people on our podcasts that have guns for a reason, hey, you know, I respect that completely, but I just, man, it'd be better if nobody had guns.
I just think that people need to pay attention to how much influence China is having on the global scale right now, because it's replacing the U.S.
Well, that's true, Ruben. That's I can't argue with you on that. That's so true.
And it's not replacing the U.S. like the U.S. did, where it's like, we're fucking invading here and we're fucking invading there and we're going to take our army here and we're going to take. No, they're doing it very differently. They're doing it by offering infrastructure to poor countries.
Well, you know what's interesting, Ruben? The way I see it, I live in a very, you know, it's a high rent district, you could say, in the Bay Area. My next door neighbor is a Chinese national, just moved in. Across the street, Chinese. Down the street, Chinese. I'm not tripping. The last time I was in Mexico City, maybe 2 years ago, I'd never seen so many Chinese people in Mexico City in my life. I ain't tripping. I see it. I see they're coming over here. I like it here too. You know, but I'm just saying, it's like, you know, but here's the thing, they're different. My interaction with Chinese people, the only problem I have with Chinese people is them running stop signs in their Teslas. Outside of that, not a problem. I love them, man. They're hella cool. But man, where I live, those fucking people, I don't mean those people, whoever they are, they keep running the stop signs in Teslas. You know, like, fuck, dude, that's a stop sign. What the fuck? And that's my only problem. And I don't mean to be picking them out, but dude, fuck, that's a stop sign. And so to me,
Is it
that's
me?
an issue.
Is it me? But do a lot of Asians just are in politics over there in the Bay?
Maybe. I mean, I think I don't see it a lot, but I mean,
A lot of newscasters are Asian.
well, here's the thing though. It's a diverse, the Bay's diverse, brother. I don't know, because I mean, you could say Asian, but they could be Filipino, they could be Chinese, they could be Japanese, you know, and so it's a very diverse, you know, but I don't know. I try to think about it. I don't see more so than normal per se, but you know, but here's the thing. In Oakland, there's a I mean, I feel bad for it, but in Oakland, the woman there is I think she's Vietnamese. I'm not sure, but she's under investigation from the federal government. Not a good look for Oakland, you know, and so that kind of sucks though. But I mean, I love Oakland, and I struggle with it, seeing it's constantly. It seems like the federal government's got some issue with Oakland, you know. And I don't guess, I don't know if it's that's where the Black Panthers started. I don't know, you know, the federal government had issue with the cannabis sales there or what. But it just seems like the federal government has no culture, not at all. And so that type of influence, or that type of, you know, people in charge of Oakland, so out of place, so out of pocket, should never happen, shouldn't be there. But you see it, if you keep an eye, you see what's happening in Oakland, you just see like this constant, like a federal agency there. There's just fucking.
I mean, but we have to pay attention to what's happening, like in these so-called major cities.
Right. Oh my God. Agreed.
Like
Man.
I seen this you know, I don't really use news sources. I use, you know, social media to get information. But I seen this one post about how like Fisherman Wharf is like pretty much abandoned. You know what I mean? Like
I haven't been there a long time. I can't say.
Like,
It's usually a pretty touristy place.
look at like Fisherman Wharf, and like most of the businesses are like fucking closed. Like really old restaurants, right? And things that have been there for fucking years and were packed all the time now are just empty. Right? What's happening there? Because that was a very wealthy city. I mean,
okay, truth be told, I think a lot of it's the mayor. I think the mayor is very ghetto, man. And it's just
that. And are the tech companies leaving?
There's Ruben, I can't honestly tell you, man, because I myself stayed away from San Francisco. I used to do the gay pride there, man. We did a really good show, and I was trying to do it this year, but it just, man, you know, and it's just weird that all, like, you know, San Francisco. There's Ruben, there's just something going on weird, man, because you know it's
that, and like even Beverly Hills is like a lot of the famous stores are closing, and it's the same thing. So
holy shit,
this crazy. Is a weird video, bro, where everything's yellow taped and it's absolutely empty. When I was a kid, it was elbow to elbow.
Right. Me too, though. Mondo, when was this though?
In San Francisco, man, that place was popping.
This video was published 11 days ago, bro, and it's absolutely dead.
I'm telling you,
What?
man.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, man. San Francisco, like shutting down like that, that's kind of weird.
Well,
that is weird.
It's been happening a while. I mean, dude, I don't go there, and I usually would go there quite a bit, you know?
Dude, honestly, the media, I have friends. I'm in fear of going over there because people are
they do make it seem
I
that way,
heard
Mondo.
the theft and the crime is so high.
Totally.
Like, if we park our car
Right.
at Fisherman's Wharf, best believe it's going to get broken into, and we're going to get
I
jacked.
heard about that.
No, I've gotten broken into a couple times in San Francisco. Like, fuck, it's not even, just common,
Oh, I think this is the video that I saw. He's like pointing out Jack in the Box and how Jack in the Box is gone. Everything's gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And he goes to like Beverly Hills, and like Beverly Hills, like a lot of those, designers are pulling out as well.
Hey, but here's the thing.
Remember, there's a global agenda. There's always a global agenda. And I think that they're trying to pull the trigger on, if San Francisco is struggling through that, that means that the tech industry is leaving. Where is it going? They're outsourcing to different countries like India, right?
Sure.
And they're going, fuck, we're gonna pay this fucking dude fucking $5 an hour. Fuck these guys. We're paying them, all this fucking extraordinary. And that's what made the economy in San Francisco is that, when you went to go work for Google or you went to go work for Oracle or all those big tech companies that were up there, man, they were throwing fucking shitloads of money at you.
Well,
and that's how inflated all the economy.
They still are because I live in the base of Apple, man, and like fuck all the houses around here. I mean, you gotta think it's like our house now, like for the property we're on, it's like $4 million.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like all the apps that were like startups and all these little things when technology was at its, when the iPhone really took its hold, and now those things are gone.
Right.
Those little companies are gone, so they're not sustaining the economy that San Francisco. It's kind of like when you look at San Francisco and Fisherman Wharf, the bubble bursted. You know what I mean? Who's going to afford a fucking $50 crab and you're trying to take your kid there?
But Ruben, it's tourist spaces, and what you said, and Mondo said it, man. The media did a hell of a job telling you stay the fuck away from San Francisco, so people are starting to listen. The people that don't listen are from Europe because they don't know. They just know the city, and they're not as bothered by all that shit, But it's like, it's just different. But I haven't been to the city in a while, but man, that's. But that to me seems like a wave that's going on and it's like they think that chimpanzee is going to save all that shit.
CVS completely left San Francisco. All their stores got shut down. CVS.
Right.
You don't think that's weird?
It is super weird.
That's
super weird.
Maybe it's not weird. It's just there's a bigger agenda at play here.
Yeah, but
they don't want you to go to a pharmacy and pick up your meds. They're going to drone it to you. Boom.
Damn. Yeah, you're right. That new model of like, don't go to stores anymore. Stay at home. It's kind of like that movie Player One. Have you seen that movie Player One?
Bro, I've never seen so many Instacart commercials in my life, bro. Like in the last week, it's like every fucking day, bro.
Man, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Something's happening. This is where we collectively kind of, and this is what we do. Daniel is like, what can we do? Well, we can kind of meditate together.
I think we're doing it, Ruben, but I think that sometimes it's just so chaotic out there. And it's like,
well, we're not going to just put our, finger on it and just go, okay.
No, it's not it. It's a lot of shit. It's like, it's an ocean of fucking fecal matter, and it's just trying to stay clear, try to stay clean. I mean, what I think too, a lot of it, sadly, Ruben, it's very racialized, and it's sad because you don't pick your race. You don't get to choose your race. You get to choose your color. Like I could be Mexica, or I could say, oh, brown pride, red, and some people choose I'm white. You could be a color if you choose to, but A color is just a color. If you're a culture, it goes beyond that, man. You get to be other things. You get to, because a lot of times your words, and we're only given one mouth and two ears, so we should be listening twice as much as we speak. But my
That's some
point is
chat saying,
that,
Scott.
I'm saying, but that's that it's important for us to
They're saying
use our voice.
who stole Turtle Island and who gets arrested and how. It's Palinqui.
Who what?
Who stole Turtle Island?
Who stole Turtle Island? Well, it was really like a concept stole Turtle Island. And the concept was people that came from Europe are superior than those who were originally here. Right? That's what stole Turtle Island.
But
We're
they
gonna
came
go
with
into like land
with the
deeds
private
and,
shit, private
things.
ownership.
Huh?
They came with private ownership. They came with the concept that somebody owns the land, and we didn't have that concept. We never owned the land. No one here owned the land. It's kind of like I was thinking about this. A Mexica never would have said and never will say, you need to put a man in charge. Never. That's not the Mexica. The Mexica is nature, looking at nature and observing it, setting the pattern, watching it, and finding harmony. And so the idea that somehow creator got fucking scooted over by a man saying, now I'm creator. Bullshit. That's the problem. Everything that's feminine is the sky. Everything that we live on is creation. And we as men, our job is to nurture that and to protect it. Well, these fools came and they did the opposite. They killed it and just wanted to take it. And you know what? It's interesting. I know it's kind of a funky subject, Ruben, but making love to a woman, you give something to her. You don't take it from her. And think of that concept. It's like, man, they came and they took what we should be giving. And so that's where the concept goes bad. We're givers and they're takers. That's it. It splits like that, because you're who you are. I always think of like our men, some of my cousins, guys who fucking did not have no fathers are great father figures. You guys put your mind to it and you're great fathers, not because somebody taught you, because you give what you didn't have. And how hard is it to do that? You know what you wanted, and in turn you say, fuck, I'm gonna give that to my kids. So that's a concept that keeps our culture strong. That's not a concept that's in their world. Their world won't say that. We're the ones that have love for our kids. It's like, so I was talking to you about Tlawis, man. I always think of that kid because, man, that kid, he's the last in the line of all you. I mean, maybe he's not, but I'm saying you raise that kid. That kid's gonna raise all your kids. And I mean, even in like.
Right.
I always think of him, man, and like, man.
Shout out to Tlawis.
Yeah,
I had a soccer game today, and
oh my god, Ruben, that's funny because you know what I was thinking of him because I bought him a soccer net and a soccer ball.
Oh no
So
way!
the next time I see him, I'm gonna hook him because, man, I want that kid to play soccer.
No, he's playing. He's playing now, and shout out. He wasn't. I guess his team didn't score, so shout out to Tlawis. I love you. I'm sorry I couldn't
That's
go to
awesome,
your game,
Ruben. That's awesome, man. But yeah, I was thinking
the
about
next one. I promise. And just I gotta admit it. It's really hard to be in this position sometimes. Where I feel like there's a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of things happening at the shop and everything, and I don't know. It's just been one of those weeks. So,
I feel it. But that kid's the reason for you to be better.
Yeah, of course. We got to stay strong for them.
Right, and an inspiration. But I just think, Ruben, I trip out off of how. But I shouldn't say I trip out, but you have such a good life. You know what I mean? Like in the world of the Mexica, like, and you've attained a lot of fucking,
right,
some good things. You've made a good Mexica imprint in our community, in our people.
Thank you.
It's
and it's still not over because there's some projects that we're working on. I don't really want to discuss them just yet. And then we also have Indigenous Peoples Day that we're going to start preparing for. And I feel like, even though the pressure is heavy and even though we can't always be on 100%, sometimes we have to take that time to recover. Right. But the recovery leads to a stronger you. If you're patient with that, I as hard as it is to be in this position and to try to bring something to a community that has a hard time just being with itself. We have a lot of struggles, but there's a vision in mind. And we've been discussing that, little by little, it starts to unfold. And if we can make this one dream come true, then I'm going to hold for a little while, pray with maybe for a while, burn my fires with that intention, because I think that intention will really kind of put a mark on all the things that we try to do to voice our opinion about who's in charge. The 4th of July, finding our identity, learning the things that we learned, learning the things that we learned from each other about the math, about the science, about the observation, about everything, right?
Right.
All those things, are culminating, but at the same time, the other forces that want to keep hold, so desperately. See, they don't know how to die like we did.
That's a good point.
They don't.
Right.
They don't. They're trying to hold on. They're like those, people that get all scared at the last moment, that their last breaths are fear.
Right. Oh man, yeah.
Where our last breath is the last intention, right? My last effort to be here on this planet. Right. That's why when I heard that Tataquashli, one of the elders who helped Semillas del Pueblo get off, said, till the last breath. That's powerful. Like, I'm going to be on my path till my last breath.
Right.
That's what we are. We're those people that don't give up till our last breath. And it's hard to defeat people like that. It's hard to control people like that. Because every breath counts.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's Quetzalcoatl.
Right. My homie Robin said that today. Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
I love that kid. I miss that guy.
Yeah, he came down and he was all, hekat Quetzalcoatl. And I was
I love that kid. Yeah, he's good, man. That's good. Yeah, and Ruben, it's just a beautiful thing. I think I was thinking of something was just the summertime, man. And I think isn't Mondo's birthday coming up?
Yes, on the 26th.
I was thinking July for Mondo.
For July?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's 2/13. And that's the day that the sun, right? The sun's directly over fucking the planet. It's a special day. Which I trip out off of how Mondo's like, the wizard in the background, and also too, but I would say this too. Shout out to Gimondo. I'm glad you're back, and shout out to your wife, man, because we don't talk about her too much, but I know, bro, it takes a lot to support a homie and after your endeavors, so just take this moment.
Yeah, the reason why we were off last week because I was in a severe car accident.
Brother. So I hope I hope everybody's cool. Man, that really hit home with me.
Yeah,
man.
thank God we're still here. Thank God I'm still here.
Give thanks, man.
But Zero made a solid point, guys, for everyone watching and everyone that's going to be tuning in the morning. Ask yourself those questions. Reflect on this holiday that we're supposed to celebrate tomorrow.
Right. Like, what are we celebrating?
Like, it has nothing to do with you.
No. or your mission, or all that stuff.
They want you to go to Ralph's and buy fucking hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah.
And blow up fireworks.
Right.
That's crazy.
And buy alcohol.
Oh, best believe buy alcohol.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Eat bad food and drink bad drink. And so
we're getting mad love. We got Raymond in the chat. Thank you, brothers, for this.
Yeah, thank you, Raymond.
Episode tonight. We got Nipsey.
A lot of good feedback.
He says appreciate this podcast to the fullest.
Nice. Wow, you guys are just the chat's really like starting to become like a very strong warrior society. You know what I mean?
Evolving.
China's a community within itself.
Right.
Right. right.
It's a community within a community.
It's funny.
Have
Hey, but
some
you
word.
do
It's word first. Palenque, or was it
Yeah,
palenque?
word first in here. Palinqui.
Palenque.
Appreciate the call, Palinqui.
Yeah.
Hey, and I
Absolutely.
wanted to add in too, just to let everybody know that at the end of the month, I usually once a year I do classes in Lake Tahoe. So again, too, I'll be teaching classes in Lake Tahoe at the end of July and the beginning of August, and so it's actually a Spanish institute. So it's kind of cool. And this month, I'm always kind of going over my workshops again because I teach a class on Quetzalcoatl, Day of the Dead, Aztec calendar, and I start the classes out with the Mexica philosophy, kind of to let people know. But it's kind of cool. 'Cause it's mostly güeros, man. Most people are going there to learn Spanish, and so a lot of times people will end up taking my class and just flip out off of the stuff I teach them, you know.
Right.
But it's I've been doing it for like 20 plus years, so
What are the dates on that?
it's a July 29th to August 2nd.
Huh.
And so yeah, that'll be in South Lake Tahoe. And so yeah, if people want to, I'm sure you can still sign up. But yeah, people do that to learn to speak Spanish, you know.
Mm.
And so I'm just a cultural element of it. But yeah, man, it's always been a good thing for me. It's like a paid vacation, you know. And so I teach Mexica culture, and they let me teach whatever I want. I have no limitations. I've always taught that, you know, man, 20 plus years. And so it's a real good gig, you know. But yeah, it's July again, you know, like it comes around once a year. I do that.
Shout out Elias Rojas. He says, I recently lost one of my parents, and my abuelita. Native ways have really helped guide me through this very difficult time. Any advice you guys can throw out would be greatly appreciated, familia.
Wow.
Well, I would say, my condolences, and
Right.
at the same time, I would say some sage, and burn some sage, and maybe grab some obsidian. And the obsidian, at least I find the obsidian is the medicine of nighttime. And I find that a lot of times our ancestors, when they pass, when they go to Mictlan, they'll visit us in our dreams. And so obsidian is a gateway to that. So I mean, maybe you could, but it's a nice story when um, midnight becomes visiting hours for our ancestors. But we all go there. We all go there because love and death are eternal.
And I think, I'm going to piggyback on a little bit of what Daniel said. When it comes to death, first, my condolences to your loss. I was talking to this young man that comes by my store. His name's Frank. Shout out to Frank. And he lost his grandma, right? And he was having a hard time with it as well. And I told him, Frank, I understand the sadness part because we're going to miss them and they're not going to be here. In my personal story, I lost my grandmother very young, and I lost my father and then my grandfather really consecutively. So death has been a part of my life since I was a child. When I got to the concept of our ancestors, I understood death to be very different. That death is kind of like life. It's the baton, right? Now, you that's feeling the loss of your grandmother, she's giving you the baton now. She's saying, use all my wisdom, use all my love, use all my direction. But most of all, use the precious blood that I had to give you because I live inside that blood. That means I live inside you. And that goes for all of us. All those ancestors, they all live inside of us through our blood. Our blood is our sacred connection. It's very important that and that's why we treat our body the way we treat it, because it holds that sacred connection. So hold your grandmother's memory and feel the sadness. Yeah, sure. It's a part of this life. But don't forget the good thing. Don't forget the good things. Don't forget the wisdoms. Don't forget her touch. Hold it. Remember it, because it's a part of you. I could still feel the kisses of my ancestors thousands of years ago. it makes me stronger. It gives me the motivation to resist colonialism by just being me. This is the biggest step you can take. You can't control me and how I eat, how I pray, how I connect, and how I understand that my grandmother lives in me. All those ancestors that passed away, they live in me. And they live in you. They passed you the baton. What are we going to do with it? We'll see you next week. Lasukamatli, Mateo.